Wrestling world in shock today. Former champion Chris Benoit found dead in his Atlanta home along with his wife and young son.
A 40-year-old Canadian professional wrestler for World Wrestling Entertainment, Chris Benoit killed his wife Nancy and son Daniel over the course of 2 days on June 22nd and June 24th, 2007, and then hanged himself at their home in Fayetteville, Georgia, in the United States. This case shocked the whole wrestling community and the nation. So today's video discusses the complex case of Chris Benoit. Welcome to True Crime. Let's get started. Early life. On May 21st, 1967, he was born in Montreal, Canada, to Michael and Margaret Benoit. Chris developed a strong interest in wrestling at a very young age. His childhood dream of becoming a wrestler was sparked by his deep commitment to the sport. Tom Billington, commonly known as Dynamite Kid, was seen performing at local matches in Edmonton. Eventually, his aspirations came true, and he had the opportunity to train with Tom. The results of all this training were evident in 1985, when Chris, 18 years old, made his professional debut in a Stampede wrestling promotion. And from here, his wrestling career rocketed. Chris won multiple championships from the most prominent wrestling organizations during his career. Also, Chris reached the pinnacle of his career in 2004, the year he declared himself the World Heavyweight Champion. Without question, Chris has had an incredible career. However, what about his private life? Over the course of his 22-year wrestling career, Chris married twice. In 1988, he was first married to Martina and has 2 children, David and Megan. But this marriage didn't last. Martina still had a deep love for Chris, even if she hated this part of him. However, the couple's relationship continued until 1997, when they divorced. And Chris began an affair with female wrestler Nancy Sullivan in 1997. At the time, Nancy was married to Kevin Sullivan, another well-known wrestler and a friend of Chris's. Eventually, Kevin realized that the situation was becoming all too real behind the scenes. Nancy ended her marriage to Kevin as a result of the affair, and she embarked on an official relationship with Chris. And in 2000, they got married and welcomed their only child, Daniel Benoit. The family experienced happiness for a while. Still, Nancy filed for divorce in 2003. Yes, for the same reasons as Martina, Chris's first marriage. Chris fought hard to maintain his marriage, and after family interventions, he acknowledged the consequences of his behavior. As a result, Nancy decided to give him another chance. Health complications. It's no secret that the abuse of testosterone and steroids occurs within several fitness communities. Individuals who aspire to be large, cruel, and threatening frequently use artificial techniques to fulfill their desires. Road rage is one of the most well-known and well-documented adverse effects of steroid use. Even continued abuse of their bodies can frequently result in major health issues. However, Chris didn't hesitate to use his own body as a battering ram. Throughout his profession, Chris grew close to several of his peers. He had a reputation for being friendly, cheerful, and an excellent athlete. As a result, while he was still in Japan, he had a friend called Eddie Guerrero, another wrestler. Eddie died unexpectedly in November 2005 at the age of 38. Chris was devastated by his friend's passing, and others close to him acknowledged that he was never the same again. Final match. On June 19, 2007, Chris defeated Elijah Burke in a match. It was a strange occurrence that nobody realized that Chris's performance in this match would be his last. The wrestler was scheduled to participate in additional events on the weekend of June 23rd, but he would postpone his appearance on Friday, saying he was too busy rushing his wife Nancy and son Daniel to the hospital due to their food poisoning. Unraveling. He was supposed to work alongside a man called Chavo Guerrero. However, on Saturday, Chavo found an odd voicemail from Chris. The two had a somewhat sporadic conversation, and also, Chavo found Chris's approach to ending the call unusual. However, Chavo woke that very morning at 3:53 a.m. with a message from his phone. Chavo was confused by the weird messages, but it was 4 a.m., and he was anyway meeting Chris in a few hours. So, Chavo returned to sleep, expecting to see his friend Chris in the morning. But Chavo wasn't the only one who got these mysterious texts. Also, 4 co-workers received similar messages. Chris's flight was meant to arrive at 8:28 a.m., but he wasn't there. By 11 p.m., the team was mystified about Chris's whereabouts. Regretfully, they were all unaware of his odd SMS messages till noon of the following day. Those who received Chris's text messages kept quiet, believing they were doing him a favor by covering for him. But regrettably, they were unaware of the true situation. Chris's agent notified Fayetteville police of these messages right away, and a welfare check was then ordered. Being the first policeman to arrive on the scene, Larry talked with a neighbor as he made his way to the Benoit family's property. She offered to take care of the family pets since she would frequently watch them. Letting herself in with a key trusted by the family, she stepped in to secure the 2 German shepherds while Larry waited outside. But a few minutes later, she sprinted out of the house while yelling furiously. Inside, she discovered Chris's son, Daniel, who was dead. Police invaded the property and also discovered the bodies of Nancy and Chris. Nancy was discovered with her hands and feet bound in the bedroom upstairs. A Bible had been placed aside next to her, and her body had been covered with a towel. It was determined that she had been strangled to death. Unlike his mother, Daniel was discovered in his own bedroom and did not have any external wounds or bounds. This implies that he was not strangled, but rather suffocated. Also, a Bible was positioned close to his body, and Chris Benoit's body was found downstairs in his personal gym. He was discovered hanging on his lateral pull-down machine. The WWE was told about the discovery, and the residence was marked as a crime scene. Discoveries and others. After conducting more research, they discovered that there was no outside assistance in the household. There was no forceful entry. After examining their bodies, it was discovered that they all died at various times. Authorities came to the conclusion that on Friday, June 22, Nancy had passed away first. According to toxicology reports, alcohol was discovered in her body, and it seemed like she had fought off an attacker. Daniel was probably killed on Saturday the following day. Xanax had been used to sedate him, so it's possible that he was unconscious when he passed away. And ultimately, on Sunday the following day, it seemed like Chris had committed suicide. Before turning against himself, he had murdered his wife and his son. The news shocked and saddened friends, family, and the wrestling community at large. The world community was left in confusion, and many people were unable to understand what Chris had done. As expected, opinions on the case spread like wildfire, and in the midst of all of this, a basic question remained: why? Finally, why did Chris claim the lives of his own wife and son? In summary, it is quite challenging to respond to the question because Chris is no longer able to provide his thoughts or reasons. Conspiracy theories arose in response to the death of the celebrity, including the notion that it was a result of an old rival, a government setup, and a house invasion. To put it briefly, a lot of people found it hard to accept that Chris, someone they loved, could commit such heinous acts. Our thoughts and prayers go out to those involved. We hope you enjoyed our true crime overview of the WWE champion who murdered his family, the case of Chris Benoit. Be sure to be a True Crime subscriber and hit the bell icon to never miss another true crime video. Leave a comment and a like to show your support. Until next time, stay safe. And if you have a true crime story you would love to see, please be sure to leave in the comments below. We look forward to seeing you in our next video.